Hi everybody, and this is another installment of my show, you can say. Um, Continuing on with the whole thing with that survey really quick. Um, Let me see here. Um, there's a little thing that I don't think I mentioned last time, but there was statistics, I may have mentioned it, that transgender people that were accepted by their families were less likely to get involved with alcohol, drugs, going to other nefarious things, while the ones that um, didn't have support from their families obviously went in that direction. So basically, that's all I have to say on that. I do suggest that um, people do go to the website that I mentioned. Well, yeah, to the these other two organizations' websites to take a good look at the survey information. And I have to say that I did get on that last more in the way of a full length show, a comment from somebody that said, excuse me, basically that all of this stuff is made up and that transgender people are deceitful. Well, to be quite honest, the information on these surveys were contracted out to a company that that's all they do. They do surveys. Like a survey company like Macro or Survey Monkey. These companies do this. That's their job. They do these surveys. Just because it doesn't state the survey company doesn't mean that they didn't go through and have one of these survey companies do this. So, and as far as transgender people being deceitful, well, that's just plain bigotry. And a person that has a bias against transgender people, and the person should take a serious look at themselves. You know, people like that should take a serious look at themselves before they start calling the kettle black. You know, it goes back to the whole thing of being racist. And racism is something that I do not tolerate. So before anybody decides to comment and to put out bigotry or racist remarks, think again, because I will contact the powers to be and have them removed and have them denied access to my channel. But continuing on, I have also been doing some research into the whole thing of the recent statement and um, oh, here it is. For transgender people, the lifting of the ban on transgender people or transgender members of the armed services where they can serve openly. And the information that I have been going over lately is directly from the Department of Defense. And in hopefully in upcoming shows, I will be talking to people within the military, in particular recruiters here in Plattsburgh and those that are in the Vermont Guard, on everything about the policies and procedures to have a clear understanding for the transgender community, because there are those that are either in transition or really looking at transitioning, but also wanting to go into the military, depending upon which branch they want to go into. And this would be some very useful and informative stuff for them. But what I have gleaned so far is that anybody that's currently serving that's transgender can transition within the military. They have to go through the normal, you can say, protocols, you know, that are put forth within the in-service transition for transgender members, which is DoD Instruction 1300.28, which spells it out pretty clearly. It's an orientation component that was put forth by the Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness on October 1st. Well, the effective date is October 1st, 2016. The information is very laborious. Unless you understand military speak, because everybody knows the military loves their, you know, the way that they phrase everything, where even those that serve find it confusing at times. But there's also the transcript from the press conference that the Secretary of Defense Ash Carter had, amongst other things. So I am going to be going further into that as the days go on. Because I think it's something that is important to the transgender community. As I told one of my friends when he mentioned that he was talking to a couple people that he knew that were in the military, I think it was the Army, he didn't sound quite, matter of fact, he wasn't interested. But I pointed out to him that I don't see any transgender people rushing to join the military as it stands, especially seeing that it states within, and even Ash Carter has stated this, that any transgender individual that is looking at joining the military has to be fully, and that's something I'm not clear about. If it's fully transitioned or transitioned, there's a difference between being fully transitioned and being transitioned, as we all know, because you can be transitioned without having any surgeries done, but you can be, there's the full transition where you have the surgeries done, whether it's female gender surgery or male gender surgery. So that's that. So that's something that's kind of confusing to me. But it's 18 months that a transgender individual has to be transitioned. So basically, if somebody, like say John Erickson, was to go and join the military thinking that he can transition to being a female, seeing that the person's transgender, it won't happen automatically. According to what I've read so far, they would have to wait until the first tour of enlistment is done, which means if you signed up for 4 years, you have to do the 4 years before before being able to transition within the military, or if it's 6 years. That's understandable, because the military doesn't want somebody to transition and then, right off the bat, and then say, well, I got what I wanted, I'm done. And anyways, they're looking, the military, seeing that it's a purely voluntary force, they are looking for people that are dedicated, serious, and willing to benefit from the experience. Unlike when there was the draft, and a lot of the younger generation never knew when a time when there was a draft. Unlike, I remember there being a draft, and others my age, which does make me sound old, but like I say, I'll be going more deeper into all of that as time goes on. What else? Also, going to be, I'm currently working on getting a one-on-one interview set up with Sophie LeBon, whatever her name is, the gal that does the assigned gender web comics, when she's down for the Burlington Pride Festival. But also I'm currently working on getting a one-on-one interview with Mike Derrick, who is currently the Democratic congressional nominee that's running against the current congressional person, Elise Stefanik, and that will be more more into politics than transgender issues, though we may touch upon that. Matter of fact, we may end up touching upon issues concerning the whole LGBTQ community. So that's basically where I am. And by the way, if anybody votes for Trump, they're an idiot. Plain and simple. I don't care if you're straight, gay, trans, queer, because Trump doesn't know what he's talking about, and his running mate Mike Pence is a homophobe, because in a statement that was put out, and I think some people would love this, state, homosexuals are not, as a group, able-bodied. They are known to carry extremely high rates of disease brought on because of their nature of their sexual practices and promiscuity, which is a hallmark of their lifestyle. Well, gee, I hate to say this to Mr. Pence, but we carry, people in the LGBTQ community carry the same diseases that everybody else has, and we tend to take better care of ourselves. So, and he signed in Indiana the whole Religious Freedom Act. It was the Freedom Restoration Act, which was a joke, which is a joke in itself. So, like I say, anybody that's voting for Trump and Pence is an idiot. Then there's this, this guy I have to love. And be quite honest, it's not, when I heard the name originally, this guy, Tony Perkins, I thought, the actor? But come to find out, this Tony Perkins, is a KKK affiliated hate group leader. He keeps on attacking people on the whole thing that the whole thing with the guy's twisted in the head, I have to say. He heads the Family Research Council, which is a right-wing religious a right-wing pseudo-religious affiliate organization that stirs the pot on everything. One of his good lines is, Christian servicemen and women need you to stand with them now, because the persecution they are suffering is going from bad to worse. All you have to do is look at the growing numbers of those serving our country in uniform who have been punished just for remaining true to their faith. The guy's dangerous. The guy's the guy sounds like a freaking Nazi. You know? It's just like Trump's new campaign CEO who ran Breitbart, which is a extreme right-wing online news organization. Come on, let's be real. You know, all I have to say is this has been one messed up election cycle, and at times I think the Libertarian or the Green Party is going to would be a better alternative to the Republicans and Democrats, but personally I think that Clinton's a lot better qualified than Trump, and then Gary Johnson is very qualified. I don't know too much about the gal that's running for president in the Green Party, but that's life right now. We have bigots, racists, religious nut jobs that are saying that transgender people are a bunch of perverts. They're going to rape your kids if you let them in the bathroom with them. You know, how much more fucked up can this whole year get? Who knows? Hopefully, rational heads will prevail. Trump won't get elected. Clinton will. And Congress will get a lobotomy, meaning most of the Republicans will be voted out. So, until next time, stay safe, have fun, and live long and prosper, folks.